Hello, scientists. It's Miss Science here. Welcome to HCC's Afterschool program, and I am going to do a great and fun activity that you can try at home and that will teach you something. Yes, yes, yes. Let's get started. Like I said, I have a very fun and educational STEM or STEAM activity for you today. Today, we are actually going to go off of two things. One of the things is this video that's already up on our channel. It's baking soda and vinegar with Miss Genesis. So feel free to check that out. The other thing is a request from Miss Finner. Shout out to Miss Finner. Hi. Thank you for asking for a volcano. And really, frankly, some of you have been asking for a volcano as well. It's one of the most popular science related activities. And guess what? Let's talk a bit about the science behind each of the things that we put in, and then I'll get a little artsy with you and break out the clay from the stop motion video, and then we will build a model volcano together. Does that sound like fun? I'm sure it does because I'm excited. I don't know about you. Let's go for it. So it's super important that as scientists, we get all of our materials together. As you see, I have my very special lab coat on today. I've had this lab coat for years. And yes, scientists actually do rock lab coats depending on what they're doing. Remember, Miss Genesis taught us about vinegar and baking soda combining and creating a gas. So that gas part is super important. But we have some other materials that we'll need to make sure that our whole volcanic eruption looks really nice. Cool? Cool. So yeah. All right, first thing we need, we've got some cups, right? We've got 3 cups here because I'm going to kind of go in 3 different situations. Y'all will see. All right, I've got 3 cups. Then I have some vinegar. I have plenty of vinegar, right? It looks like water. It could be anything, but this is vinegar. I have some soap, food coloring, and my trusty, handy friend, the baking soda. Super awesome and super fun. So let's tilt you down. In this first cup, I'm going to put a level spoon. Actually, in all of my cups, I'm going to add some baking soda. In our first corner, we're going to only have baking soda and vinegar. That's what's going to happen in the first corner. Then in the second cup, we'll have baking soda and vinegar and some food coloring. I'll actually use 2 colors. I'm going to use red as well as yellow because we all know that lava has kind of some different tones in it. And so we want to make sure that we are as accurate as possible in depicting our volcano, right? So I'll add food coloring here so that you're going to get an idea of how the food coloring comes into play. Then actually, let's keep the cap off because now inside of this third cup, I'll be adding food coloring, right? As well as some soap. And I promise I'm moving quickly just to make sure that the video is entertaining. Hello. But I definitely am going to explain each of the different processes that we are witnessing. Okay, let's put my food coloring back for a short period of time. Once again, Miss Science here, aka Miss Steph. or Miss Farmer, but y'all know how I feel about Miss Farmer. Tend to not go with that one so much. All right, so I'm going to add some vinegar. Let's measure out our vinegar. Yes, I do have 3 cups. Y'all know how I do. I like to be prepared on video and in person in the classroom. Notice how I'm not really putting too much vinegar in here, right? Not a lot of vinegar. Okay. And as you can tell, the vinegar is the last thing that I'm going to add inside of my sample cups, inside of my reaction cups, inside of my cups where I'm displaying what's going on. See, that cup has got food coloring in it. And I'm also going to add some soap. I'm using clear soap because it's my preferred. The clear soap impacts the color of the reaction the least. So I like to use clear soap. Right? Okay. So our first reaction is our most basic situation. Miss Genesis talks to y'all about this. Remember, carbon dioxide is produced, or one of the things that is produced when we mix vinegar, acetic acid, that's the chemical name for it, and baking soda. Okay, sodium bicarbonate. Cool, 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 cool. So let's do that now. A little vinegar and baking soda. What, y'all? It's cool, cool, cool. Right? Nice little fizz. What? So imagine what would happen if I were to add all of the vinegar to the baking soda, all just at one time, right? Because I'm adding it a little bit at a time, and each time it's actually going up to here. Yeah? Okay. Let's put that down. Next, we've got acetic acid, sodium bicarbonate, and then some food coloring in there. Right? There we go. There we go. There we go. Looking a little bit more interesting, a little bit more like the stuff that comes out of volcanoes. Whoa, right? Did you see that? Pretty quick. It's a really quick reaction. The reaction is super fast. And you actually need more vinegar than you do baking soda to finish up the reaction, right? So the limiting reagent is our vinegar. Okay. Next, inside of here, I have baking soda, or sodium bicarbonate. I have food coloring, as we all know and love. Anybody who knows me knows that I just feel like color makes life better. Yes. And then I have some soap. Now, soap is a surfactant, okay? And one of the things, surfactants do a lot of stuff, people. Like, they're super important in life. But one of the things that surfactants do is they can capture the gas. Okay, so do you see what happened there? Do you see how that was a bit more controlled? So the reaction is happening, but it slowed it down a little bit. Okay, and the foam. Okay, the foam is expanding. It's growing. So the gas has been produced, but it's a bit more controlled. So I'm slowing down my reaction and I'm capturing the gas inside of the surfactant. So surfactant really helps things. Okay. So when I do these volcano models, I like to use some soap. Hello. All right, folks. Now it's time to put all of the knowledge that we have just reviewed, like in motion and action to work, right? Because what's the point of learning science at school and math if you're not going to do something with it? Well, I tell you, and I promise you, I use science and math every day. Okay. And that's not just because I'm a STEAM education teacher. It's like I actually use it in real life. Right. Now, first thing that I'm going to do is talk to you a bit about how I'm going to make the outside of my volcano. Okay. Right? How am I going to make the thing that the volcano is going to, like the base, right? So I'm going to use one of my cups as the center, as a foundation, right? Remember, being an engineer involves using your math and science knowledge to solve a problem. The problem or the challenge that I've given you and myself is to make a model volcano. All right, so this is what I'm using, right? I have something to capture the eruption part, and I have a base. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, but Miss Science, aren't volcanoes mountains and aren't mountains essentially brown? Okay. Or maybe an inactive volcano would have some greenery around it, some green. Um, yeah. So here's the deal. Using some kind of color theory concepts, right? How do you make brown when you don't have brown? When you have primary colors or when you have a primary color and a secondary color. Yes, I know it sounds like I'm doing some art and stuff, but I'm telling you, art and science are real related, people. Okay, so I'm going to use what I have. I'm going to mix a primary color and a secondary color. Okay, now to get brown. So I am just mixing this. Okay, mixing it together. Okay, going to combine it. Remember, this clay does come off, right? The pigment does come off on your hands, but it rinses off super easily. All right. So here's the deal. I'm going to keep mixing this together, mix, and I'll see you in a bit once I've combined all of this and it looks more like a brown clay that I can use to build my mountain. Remember, volcanoes are mountains that have hot lava coming out of them. All right, so I'm back with my brown clay. That took a minute. Being a scientist involves being patient. I mean, there's nothing else I can really tell you about that. That's the truth. All right, so like I said, used my science knowledge to mix together a primary color and a secondary color. In my case, I used green and red, and then I actually added a bit of the yellow that I had. So this is what I got. This is my brown clay. All right, so y'all know how it is. I'm about to speed this up so that you're not just you know what I'm saying. I'm going to speed this up, let you see how I build my mountain. I'm back. So, that was a whole long process, right? Mixing together my three colors. As I shared, I did green and red, and then I was doing bits of yellow inside of that. I did equal parts of green and red, and then I did about like half a stick of yellow. Okay. And so then I needed to build my volcano. As you can see, maybe you can kind of tell that there's a cup under it, but it doesn't look like it's just clay, like clay just smashed on top of a cup. I tried to you saw me putting the pieces on kind of slanted so that it would go out like an actual mountain does. All right. So, mountains have different shapes and all that type of stuff, and that's another conversation. But this essentially will do for what we need. Okay. Now we need to get into mixing our materials together. So we already talked about how we're going to use vinegar and baking soda to create that carbon dioxide gas. And then we said we were going to use food coloring, 2 colors of food coloring, so that we can get a nice lava like looking substance. And then the other thing that we're going to do so that it kind of gives us an oozy kind of situation, right? A situation to where the reaction's not just super fast, but so that it kind of overflows and then gives us what really, really looks like a volcano and kind of slows things down and capture the bubbles. We're going to use soap, which is a surfactant. Now, I am going to add these materials in a bit of a different order than I did originally with you before during part 1 of the video. Okay. I'm sure you noticed that in this situation, we didn't really get the food coloring to look like it would. See there, the food coloring is still stuck at the bottom. Is that where we want it to be? We want it completely mixed with our lava into all of the lava. So the best way to do that actually is to put all of the liquid inside of one container here. We have our very viscous soap. So we're going to put the soap inside of the bottom. Again, all of this is science. I'm using my math and science knowledge to make this come together in the way that I want it to. I know that my soap will help capture my bubbles and help give me this oozy kind of situation that I want, right? When a volcanic eruption happens, like I said, I'm adding my liquids in order of viscosity, right? Viscosity is how thick something is. You see how thick that soap is? Next, my food coloring. And as I said before, lava is not just the straight up red, so that it actually looks like lava. I'm making sure that I'm adding some yellow to give us some orange tint to it. And then I'll add quite a bit of red. Because I want it to be it's weird. I want it to be a deep red, but I also want to have some orange undertones. Next, let's add our vinegar to our liquid mixture. Can you see how on the bottom my soap is still kind of there, but I'm swirling, I'm swirling, I'm swirling, right? Do you see those kind of that orange there that's with me because of the yellow? Again, using my math and science knowledge to put this together. Remember, Miss Genesis told us that lots of chemicals are actually created when we mix the 2 chemicals of vinegar and baking soda. Remember, acetic acid and sodium bicarbonate. Those are the chemical names for those compounds. Okay. Also, just random FYI, everything in this world has a chemical makeup. So when you hear people say chemicals, really they're talking about everything. Now, there are certain things that are like man-made chemicals and maybe toxic chemicals, but everything is a chemical. Water is a chemical, vinegar is a chemical. You see where I'm going. That's how it works. Everything has a chemical makeup. Everything we interact with is matter. Everything you see going inside of our model is a chemical. Even the clay, right? The clay is a chemical. All right. So I have all of my components of this awesome volcano together. All right. So one more shout out to Miss Finner for requesting this, and definitely a shout out to Miss Genesis for making the video earlier in the like previously. All right. Soap, food coloring, 2 colors, and vinegar. Baking soda inside of the cup that I used as my structural base, right? And then around here, I've got my clay. You ready? Do you know what's going to happen? I know you do, but you're still excited, aren't you? You still want to see how it really turns out the way that I've put things together. All right, one more swirl, 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 swirl. Swirl. All right, I'm going to add a bit. And folks, there it is. Our volcano. I think we did an awesome job building this volcano, this volcanic eruption, this model volcano using our math and science knowledge. We combined our knowledge of a chemical reaction and other chemicals, and we used our engineering knowledge and our art knowledge even to build something for our chemicals to be mixed inside of. That was super fun. I think that was cool. Yeah. What do you think? I think it was. And actually, do you want to see what happens if I add just a touch more vinegar? Let's try it before I log out. I said just a touch. I didn't say I was going to make it just explode, right? Like a real volcano, you have some explosive power happening. Swirl, 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 swirl. And add more. See if it works its way down to the bottom, right? Because you know it has to work all the way back down to the baking soda, okay, for it to react and come out and give us this awesome eruption. Yes. Super, super awesome. Thank you for watching HCC's After School, our virtual after school, our spotlight on STEM. My name is Ms. Steph, also known as Miss Science, or Miss Farmer if you prefer. And I look forward to seeing you next time for a fun, engaging, educational video. Bye.